really fast. And maybe it was just me, but it was a year that personally, like I said, I just, dealt with the change I was going through. I mean, here's what's crazy. Here's what's crazy, guys. So, as a lot of you may or may not know, for those of you that have followed my channel, um, I don't know if it was at the end of December. I don't know when it was, but I had to wait a little over 90 days before I was able to monetize again. Because, I mentioned this in a video, and I think I mentioned it in a live stream, but in case you guys don't know, one of the big hiccups and headaches for me going into this year, at the start, I should say, was the fact that apparently I got hit with a false claim. And as I mentioned originally, what I did is I deleted a lot of my videos related to the subject that I got falsely claimed for. And I looked it up, and when I looked at the claim, I was like, wait a minute. This says something that's non-relatable to the subject, because what it was a false what it was a false claim, um, by a group saying that they were part of a uh, overall overall entertainment company's music division, and it's one of the more widely known music divisions out there. And when I saw that, I'm thinking this doesn't seem right. And I looked it up, and apparently I wasn't the only one that dealt with this. I wasn't the only one that got falsely claimed. And then when I looked closely, I realized it was the same individuals that tried to falsely claim me before. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden, I'm hearing everything that's going on with Retro Rick here on YouTube, with Irate Gamer recently, Chris Bores, and several others like Pro Wrestling Unlimited. And I find out that maybe there's a connection. And that connection is whoever these people are that are doing these false claims, they just want to take over your channel, to push their agenda, or basically take over your channel because they don't find it cool. That's what they are. They're just a bunch of trolls. They're just a bunch of hackers and trolls that either want to use your channel because they feel, hey, it's an easy avenue to, sell their products, if you will. Most of those being, the coin situation. While others just want to take you down because they're like, oh, what you do ain't cool, but if you show some TNA, if you get my drift, that'd be cool. That's basically what they are. That's basically what I think they are. But I think there is a connection, though. There is a connection between, uh, basically getting falsely claimed and then having certain people take over your channel because they want to because they feel your channel's big enough or has a wide audience enough to say, hey, there's our ticket to selling products. Now, hopefully, with this new administration coming into the White House in next month, hopefully we'll see less of that. Because I think one of the things that the government is getting at and will be getting at is the people that own the YT and other outlets. They're basically allowing this kind of stuff to happen because they don't have any. I guess you could say they don't have over. They don't have a lot of eyes on what they need to be done. I mean, they do have a team YouTube and everything that you can communicate with through Twitter and other means and all that, and which is great. And when you do communicate with them and you give them the information that you know of, from what I understand, they do put it on record so it doesn't happen again. And from what I've understood, when I let them know, hey, this is what happened to me. Here's all the information you need of the individuals that did this. It hasn't happened yet, or not yet, but it hasn't happened ever since. Thank the Lord. It hasn't happened since. Thank the Lord. But I think there is a connection. I think there is a connection between both sides. And it's like, again, it's like, to me, again, it's like, if you want to push your own product, get your own channel. Don't try to take over anybody else's channel because you want to push your own product. That's not right. And thankfully, every time somebody reports this, and God willing, Lord willing, they get their channel back, like Retro Rick got his back, Pro Wrestling Unlimited got theirs back, Chris Boers is getting his back, slowly but surely. Thankfully, this doesn't happen again because, you know, the people that did it, their address and all that gets put on record so that if they attempt it again, YouTube, hopefully this time around, or hopefully that time around, will be able to be like, not so fast, don't you dare. They'll be able to prevent it from happening again. But I think that's why you have the DOG and the FCC, or not DOG, but the DOJ, I should say. You have the DOJ and parts of the FCC being like, look, Google, you own outlets like YouTube and other places. You need to sell parts of these off. Like if you want to keep it within your family, fine, but let other people take control of it and handle it because you can't control most of it. You can't watch over most of it. So, that's why you're seeing a lot of this because obviously there's a lot of complaints going out there saying, hey, look, people are having this happen to them and this happen to them, and it's under your watch, and it's under stuff that you have ownership over, and ownership and control over. So you need to basically separate that and let it go its own way, even if it stays under your umbrella. Like it could still, like with Disney. Disney owns Marvel, they own Star Wars, and all that, but they're letting them operate as if as if they're still their own individual entities. Like they're not owned by Disney, but they are. Like Lucasfilms releases the Star Wars stuff, Marvel Studios releases the Marvel stuff, but they act like their own entities, even though they're under the Disney umbrella. So that's basically what I think. I feel and think. That the FCC and the DOJ want want Google to do. They want them basically like, hey, keep them within house, but let them be run by other people separately. Down the line, like sell parts of it to these individuals, let them take control, and we're good as gold. So I think that's what's going. So I think honestly, that's what we'll see. What we could be seeing. Honestly, I think that's what we could be seeing as far as YouTube's future and all that under Google. Maybe, but maybe we won't. We don't know. But hopefully things will get straightened out so this kind of stuff doesn't happen again. But again, I think there is a connection between these false claims and these people having their channels taken over. I think there is a connection there, and hopefully Team YouTube, looks into it, takes all the pieces, and puts it together and realize, hey, this feels like it's the same individuals. But yeah, like I said, like I was saying, beginning of this year, if not the end of last year, I had this situation to where it was like I could not, I could not monetize. I could not monetize what I was doing and everything here on the YT, mainly due to the fact that someone had falsely claimed me, and it caused me to get a copyright strike. And again, I was unsure what was going on, so I deleted a lot of, what was associated with it. Not all of it, but deleted some of it. And I should have kept the video that got claimed, that got me the strike. So I didn't. So when I reported it, I'd be able to keep the video and get that strike taken off. I didn't do that. I had to end up, keeping the strike. But YouTube was able to look into it and be like, okay, we see what you're saying. Thank you for the information. And from what I understand, many people like myself have never dealt with it yet, or never, not yet, but have never dealt with it since. They've never dealt with it since, due to the fact that YouTube keeps a lot of this on record, and they say, hey, we're not letting you guys pull this kind of crap again. In fact, I can even look it up, hopefully without any issue. I'm gonna Google. Let's see. Okay, this is what it says. I looked this up on Google itself. I asked, basically in the search bar, does YouTube keep record of false claims? And they said, and this is from the Search Labs, the AI overview. This is what they say. Yes, YouTube does keep a record of reported violations of its community guidelines, including instances where users might make false claims under the False Claims Act. Although they may not specifically label it as such, when users report content as misinformation or violation of the policies, YouTube reviews it and may take action on removing the video, issuing a strike against the channel, even terminating the account depending on the severity of the violation. So what that tells me, what that tells me is um, basically they keep uh, that I'm getting a little tongue tied here, but basically what this tells me, and you can look it up yourself by putting in what I said, by putting in the question of does YouTube um, keep a record of false claims and all that. Basically, what that tells me is they're making progress. They're trying to make progress, in preventing this kind of stuff from happening again, because they've already had throughout the recent years, some kind of an up and down reputation. So they don't need anything else, hitting them, in the down portion of the reputation right now. So, so I'm kind of glad that they're doing that. And ever since then, we have not dealt with that, anymore. We've not dealt with that anymore. But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And then, of course, I had to reapply and everything. And thankfully, I was able to get back up and running after a while. But yeah, it was just crazy to deal with that. But again, myself and others that dealt with these people that did this false claim under this fake label and all that, posing as someone they're not. Uh, thank the Lord, we've never had to deal with that ever. Thank the Lord, we have not had to deal with that ever again. Not saying that people aren't receptive to that kind of stuff, as we've seen recently with big YouTubers like Chris Bores and Retro Rick. But it's like, you know, thankfully YouTube is, keeping, the records that they need to prevent this from happening again. Because it doesn't just reflect YouTube in a negative way when this stuff happens, it reflects Google overall and the people that own them. It reflects bad on them overall. But anyway, that's kind of how I started out the year. Basically, I still did my YouTubing, knowing that eventually I was going to be able to make some money back or make some money again down the line. But with that said, again, like I said, it was outside of that, it's been a good year. There's no doubt about that. Of course, personally, had to go out of state a few times, see family because of reasons that I've mentioned before and everything. I had to go out of state. I had to go from California back to Kansas. Had a good time, celebrated my birthday out there and everything. And, again, checked in on family that's dealing with some situations right now. And that's all I'm going to really say. But I will say this: if you ever took a red eye flight, yeah, it gets to you basically when you get in. It gets to you, especially if you just go nonstop from landing where you are in Kansas City to going all the way to the city, the college city, where the Kansas State Wildcats are located. You know, with making a few stops here and there. Um, but anyway, outside of those two times, not too bad, not too bad of a year, honestly. And then of course, finally getting back to work at the same place I was the year before, even if it's seasonal, was was a good deal to have, and just move, just go with and everything down the line. It was a good time to basically be able to take care of stuff, kind of splurge a little bit, and go from there. Um, but yeah, the year again, like I said, went by quick, and for personally, like I said, it's a good year, ups and downs a little bit. Back to work and everything, becoming a great uncle for the, I think what is it, the third time, but this time with my nephew and everything, my oldest nephew. So, that was great and everything. I know I say that. I know I'm saying great a lot, so I do apologize. um, but yeah, just a good year outside of that. But like I said, beginning it though, knowing that I was falsely claimed and I should have, done, and I've learned from that. So if, anything was to happen again, Lord willing, it does not happen. It does not happen. Lord willing, because YouTube, Google keeps it on record. Um, I now know that you need to keep the video, that's falsely claimed and everything, and report it along with what's going on, so that they understand, they know that, hey, this is not right. This is not, this is not the official people and everything. And again, I think it's just one of those situations to where, people, I think, like I said earlier, there's a connection between, those that took over the major channels out there, like PWU, Retro Rick, and Chris Bores, and so on, and people that do this. I think there's a connection, and hopefully that connection, is broken, and we don't have, and we never again have to deal with this, going forward. But outside of that, not not too bad, not too bad of a year. Got personally, like, splurge wise, I was able to get my first Bose, item, my first Bose item, which is my Sound Link, and I have to give a shout out to Andre Meadows of Black Nerd Comedy for talking about that when he was doing his discussion of cereals and everything in a previous in a or video he did earlier. So you know, so I have to give a shout out to him for that. And then of course I got my second Bose item with one of my first few checks. That was the Bose Smart Sound Bar 600, which is the second to newest sound bar out there. It's only like 2 years old and everything, but it sounds great. Now, what I got to do eventually is get the speakers to maybe really get. I mean, it sounds perfect anyway because it has that technology to give you true surround sound. So it feels like you could be sitting where I'm sitting right now recording this, and you could hear the sound like it's right there with you. So that it does live up to its hype. But they also say if you really want that immersion more so than what you're getting now, which is great, then get the sound speakers, and it'll be like you're gonna have true immersion that way. Um, but be that as it may, again, again, not too bad of a year, except for the fact that it went by quickly, and we'll see what 2025 has to offer. Hopefully, I'll be working before before we get into the spring portion of the year and everything. But that's up to God to where He wants to put me. If He wants to put me back where I was, just a month, just a few weeks ago, in February, if He wants to do that, that's up to Him. If He wants to put me at McDonald's or wherever, that's up to Him. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Or if He just wants me to, take a break and make money through monetization monthly with YouTube, and then eventually, get my UA really up and running more so than before, then so be it. That works too. But it's up to Him. It's ultimately up to Him in the end. But yeah, not too bad of a year, like I said.